I will try to grab the attention with a famous sentence that is you become what you think about, and it's true, because we started saying that one thought creates our reality, and it's not a matter of which event we are in. It's a matter of which thoughts I create around the event. What's my perception of the event? And this thought will create emotions. And bonded together, thought and emotion will dictate how I behave, how I react to that event.
It's the Health in the Real World podcast. It's time to start the show with Janke as your host. Here to give you everything that you need when it comes to fitness strategies. We keep it simple and easy. It's your roadmap to get healthy. You don't need equipment and you don't need a gym. Just the right strategies to get you fit and trim.
The Health in the Real World podcast is sponsored by most exercises and workouts, whether they be running, biking, elliptical, rowing machine, traditional weightlifting, or even CrossFit, do not give you a balanced workout. And when you do workouts that neglect even one area, you're out of balance, resulting in pain and injury as well. Achieve your goals with the fitness program your chiropractor would love. Visit chrisjanke.com/pod to watch the free video. Hello and welcome to Health in the Real World. I'm here today with Coach Elys. How are you today, Elys?
I am great. You can see the sun outside and the ocean. No, you can't see the ocean yet.
Are you pretty close?
The ocean in front of me.
How close are you to the ocean? You're in Portugal right now. You're pretty close.
Yes. It's over there. I mean, half a mile.
Okay. Yeah. Next podcast we do, you should do it from, I'll do it from the ocean. You could do it from the ocean. I'm near Santa Cruz, so I'm in California. So 30 minutes from the ocean as well. So we can do an ocean special.
I like it.
That'd be good.
I am in.
Okay.
I am in.
Nice.
Absolutely.
It's getting warmer. Yeah. So wait, it's got to be like 4 or 5 p.m. over there right now? Somewhere like that?
5 p.m. Yes.
Okay. Exactly. 9 a.m. over here. Nice. Well, thank you for joining me. I'm very grateful for technology, that we can be halfway around the world and still communicate and still talk about all things health and continue to learn and grow and help other people in the process.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me especially, because I started my own coaching business during the pandemic. So isolated from everything and everyone.
Yes. So do you have a specific kind of niche that you coach, or like a specific goal that most of your clients have, or are you more broad picture?
It happened that most of my clients are women in the 30, 40. Mm-hmm. So, but it happened, and I focus on healthy living in a holistic way, in a very broad meaning of the term, mm-hmm. If it makes sense. I'm not focusing on anything that is solely, merely, fitness or nutrition. I am not a nutritionist. I am not a personal trainer. I am a life coach, and I work especially at the level of mind and mindset. And in my journey, this was the tricky part, and this was the tricky point to develop a new mindset, so I could have another level of well-being.
Yeah. Mindset is the driver that initiates all change, yeah. Right? You said you're an NLP practitioner. NLP is the real deal. I've been an NLP client. I worked with an NLP coach maybe like 8 or 10 years ago, And
Oh,
I can legitimately say that there was Chris before NLP and Chris after NLP. Those are two totally different people. Amazing.
yes. So we probably met before and after, because I have another Elys. Yeah, I mean, more or less in the same time that you were another Chris. So we were
Nice.
two different persons, and probably we met over there in another realm of perceptions, and now we are here, new
Right.
people.
Exactly.
After NLP, fantastic. I love it.
NLP is just so amazing. When I describe it to people, I
Yeah.
think they get the feeling that I think that it's like magic or something, which it's not magic. It's very heavily researched. But in your own words, how would you describe to somebody like what NLP is, and then also what, you may have added kind of your own spices to it, right? Kind of, and so what is that whole mixture like? How does that affect your coaching, and how does that actually change somebody's whole mindset?
There is no standard approach to NLP, and I don't have a standard approach to my clients, meaning that is, a fixed blueprint, because everyone is a different human being, and NLP is just like that. I give you the tools to understand your own language, how your mind creates the reality you're in, because it's all about that. It's all about how the mind works and why the mind, this is the magic, why the mind creates the reality you are in, because there is a sequence. And in this sequence, you are the main character or the director or an extra of this sequence that is your life. It's like a movie, right? And what NLP does, NLP says that our brain has a function that is our mind activity, and this function has languages, and these languages create the third letter, a program that then express itself in your behaviors, and these behaviors create your reality. So it's like getting into the code of what you do, why you do it, and how you can create everything you want. I mean, everything you want. Seriously.
Yeah. Wow, that's a great, I mean, I've never really heard it expressed like that. That's a great way of expressing it. It's like, like reality in a sense, whether or not it exists, it doesn't matter, because it's our interpretation of reality.
It doesn't exist. In my experience, in my opinion, doesn't. We do not have a reality. It's like Matrix.
Everything, right? It's the Matrix, right? Everything is filtered through our own perception of our senses, right? And neuro-linguistic, I think it is a perfect title. I've always wondered why neuro-linguistic. That's kind of an interesting title, but it really is. It's neuro. It's how the brain interprets the language and even all the other stimulus around us, and creates, like you said, the movie inside of your head that is dictating what your life is going to look like, right?
Yes. Because everything is so real for each one of us, but at the same time, everything is so different. From my perception to your perception, there is an endless combination of different features. Yeah. But the event is the same. Right. So if something exists, is an event that happens outside our reach. But even in this case, we can find some caveats. I mean, I can let this paper fall. I can let this fall. Yeah. And this is an event, right? That happens. But you can say you dropped the paper. Another one can say, oh, the law of gravity. I can say, oh, I made it fall. Right. What's true? which reality is the reality. But anyway, the paper now is there. So this is something objective. The paper is there. But how it ended there, this is a matter of perceptions.
Right.
And I could really, as you did, I could really reshape my life in a completely different way, and I couldn't imagine that, and I couldn't see myself back then. I couldn't see myself in these conditions, in this life that thrives. I couldn't say that many years in my past. So I feel blessed because of that.
Yeah. And that's actually a good point too, is that from your vantage point back before you did NLP, it was just so outside of your realm of possibility. And because again, you're interpreting, we have kind of like set patterns and ways that we typically interpret the world that are consistent, because we create sort of an identity around who we are and how we live our lives. And when we sort of get into that and figure out how those are created, I was about to say why they're created, and I almost don't care about why. Like, there could have been trauma or however you interpret it, but it is what it is. But how do we create it? Like, how do we interpret things? How do we code things in our minds? I wanted to say one thing that I've noticed. This is maybe a little off topic, but I've interviewed several people who have been trained in NLP, and people who have this understanding of how the brain works and how we interpret events to shape them differently in our heads, like the interpretation, are probably some of the least judgmental people that I've ever met. Because it's like there comes an awareness that every single individual is completely different in how we look at life and the world, right? And that's okay.
I think we are the most fierce and at our hardest and harshest point against ourselves. Right? We are the hardest judge when it comes to ourselves. And with that, you learn, it becomes natural. You learn to be kind to yourself and to stop this trap, this trap of self-talking in a negative way or in a judgmental way, or in all those ways that are not empowering. The contrary, quite the contrary. So if you do not do for yourself, it doesn't have sense to do it for someone else, because we are all the same. And at some point it's none of my business, right? So I don't. Going back to what you were saying, not only it doesn't have a reason why to judge other people, but with regards to the how, I can't, and simply it's not in my scope. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, because we have another set of beliefs. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's a pretty amazing foundation. Now, as far as how you use NLP and any other modality that you use to coach your clients, what does that kind of look like, and what do clients sort of expect when they come in? What do they get? What do like the first few weeks look like? I know everybody's different, but in general, like, how could you guide us through that process? What does that look like?
The fundamental points of my guideline is to raise an awareness. And the majority of us doesn't have the tools to get into a dialogue with our mind and to understand the power of a single thought, right? So we can spend hours on this topic, but when someone that I don't like to say my clients or someone that I work with, someone that we are in this conversation together, when someone has this moment of realization of their own thoughts and on the power of them, it's like a wow, it's like a mind-blowing moment. And the other fundamental point of my approach is that we are not only the mind, we are not only the body, the senses. We are, for the most part and the most important part, we are energy. And of course, everything to live a healthy life and to stay in a condition that we would like to last forever, all these aspects must be aligned. So it's like getting into a dimension of harmony where we are not in an abstracted, meditation or meditating state where we just make the mind go and shape a new reality before it may happen, it may manifest. And we are not only bonded to the world of senses, to the world of our perceptions. We are much more than that. Or we are not only that. And of course, every one of us understand the power of our emotions. Emotions, energies that are moving inside of us. So, hello, Mary.
Hey, Mary.
Hello, good morning.
Hello.
Am I interrupting?
It's okay, Mary. This is Coach Elys. Yeah, if you could sign on in 10 minutes. Sorry.
Absolutely, no worries.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, Mary.
Sorry.
That's okay. Sorry, that happened.
No problem. And so, yeah, it's all about having these harmonious relationship with every aspect of who we are.
Yeah.
And the identity is the most important point of awareness that creates the changes we want.
Right. Right. Exactly. It I think that's how you make that connection, right? To somebody who maybe has no clue what we're talking about. The identity, it's like who you believe you are at a deep level, not the, affirmations that you say in the mirror that you don't really believe, right? But like at a very deep level, who you believe you are, you're going to line up with that day in, day out consistently. Those are going to be your results, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Because our what we do and what we do creates our reality is the product of our mind, we were saying. But the thing is that for 95 of the time that our mind is active, we are doing something that we are not conscious of.
Right.
So when our starting point to get to a change, to realize something is, I want, and my goodwill will do it. It's not the right step. We are starting from that 5%, that counts as 5%, wanting it to be as effective as the other 95%, and giving this 5% that is our goodwill, our want and our desire, giving it a characteristics, features, and also the responsibility and the functions that it doesn't have. Because what moves our body and what makes us act is, for the most of the times, is the 95% of this mind that goes automatically in the same pattern. And it's not wrong. This is something that I try to deconstruct with my folk. I'm not saying that, and we shouldn't give a negative or a heavy meaning to the habit. Oh, it's habitual. Oh, I have this habit. It's good that we develop habits, because it frees. It's a way of freeing the space, the attention to do something else.
Right.
We cannot start from scratch every time we meet someone, or we have to do something, or we have to decide if we like it or not. When this is set, our mind is set to do a certain type of things, a certain patterns, to repeat them. So habits are our friends, right, but they do not have the judgmental and the moral meaning. A habit is a habit, and if you want to change the habit, you have to use the right tools and to dialogue with that 95% of the brain activity that has its language, its way of actions. You can't rely on your goodwill. Right. It won't work.
Right. That's very well put. You're dialoguing with that 95%. Yeah. Changing the autopilot. And if we didn't have habits, we would have to think. We'd have to consciously think about tying our shoes, and we would have all of our attention on that. So you're right. It does serve a purpose, but sometimes we develop habits that don't serve a purpose, and it's those habits that we have the technology to change, right?
Yeah, they do not serve us anymore.
Right.
Because we are constantly evolving.
100%. Yeah. Well, I want to go really big picture now to end this podcast. This has been really great hearing about NLP, about how it can change those habitual ways of thinking. Let's go really big picture. You're called in front of a graduating class at a graduation ceremony, or let's say like a keynote speech at a corporation, and you're going to give a 1-minute motivational speech on how they can get the most out of their lives. Go whatever direction you want with this one.
I will try to grab the attention with a famous sentence that is, you become what you think about, and it's true, because we started saying that one thought creates our reality, and it's not a matter of which event we are in. It's a matter of which thoughts I create around the event. What's my perception of the event? And this thought will create emotions, and bonded together, thought and emotion will dictate how I behave, how I react to that event. And this behavior will create my reality, will create the life around me. The situation around me will be created not by the event, but how I reacted, how I stepped into this process of creation that is in between the event, objective event, so to speak, and the situation I am in, the world around me. Because one thought creates an emotion, and the emotion creates the behavior. The behavior will create your reality. And we are all made of energy, and this thought will create a set of actions in our body, and our body will release those chemicals that are the hormones of happiness, or the opposite, the hormones of sadness. And it all starts with a thought. So what changing, or as I was saying, starting a dialogue with our mind will have massive effects on the way we perceive the reality, the way we perceive the world around us, and the way we feel in terms of emotions, in terms of, health, because of course, if we live in stress, our health will be affected by that. So emotions, energy, health, lifestyle, everything is connected, and we can truly say that everything starts with a thought. So everything starts here in our mind. It's fantastic.
Right.
It says something about the endless potentials that we have as human beings.
Right. Well, that sounds great. That's, we've cracked the code in a way, right? That's great. And so somebody who wants to learn more about you, or potentially coach with you, or how do they get in touch with you, Coach Elys?
They can get in touch with me, and I hope so. I look forward to it, via Facebook. I am mainly spending my time with people on Facebook, chatting back and forth, and I have a fantastic community of members of my coaching program. But not only. It's a Facebook group, and it's called Healthy and Powerful Women. So I will wait for you there.
Perfect. Sounds good. Well, I really appreciate the time. Again, this is Coach Elys, and I'm Chris Janke of Health in the Real World. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Thanks for listening to the Health in the Real World show. Make sure to like and subscribe and comment down below. Visit mycorebalance.com to learn more.